Hi, I'm Shao. In the past 17 months or so, my main camera has been the Nikon Zf. It's a well-known camera. A lot of people are infatuated by its retro design. It has become a staple of street photography, mainly in the past year and a half or so. Many Fujifilm users have been switching to the Nikon system due to this specific camera because it gives them a similar traditional layout of operating the core functionality. Personally, I did not choose this camera because of its design or design language. I bought it simply because it was the very first 24 megapixel full frame camera in the Nikon system with functional or adequately functional autofocus. I used another camera of this system before, the Nikon Z6 II, but the continuous autofocus on that camera was not very effective. I found myself struggling quite often to focus on what I wanted to focus quickly and confidently. And since I shoot a lot of moving subjects, human subjects, it caused quite some frustration. I don't believe there is fairy dust in cameras, unlike some Fujifilm and Leica users feel. There is nothing magical about it. It's all technology. However, I do not think there is alien technology put into our cameras either, like some Sony users feel. It's all a matter of slow, perhaps too slow evolution. The rate of advancement in this technology has been slowing down for a long time. Nowadays you can argue that all cameras will produce more or less the same photos with some nuances of color science, the lenses available for each system, which of course make a much greater difference to the final results and the camera itself. Let us explore the functionality of the camera, of any camera. I would put the different functions the camera supports in three different tiers. The first tier, the central one, is responsible for the very core operation of the camera. It is made of three major functions, which are aperture, shutter speed, and focus acquisition. These three functions will define two things. One of them is the total brightness of the resulting image, and the second one is an answer to the question, what will be sharp? You may wonder why I do not include the ISO setting or the sensitivity into that core tier. Well, I don't think ISO is really equivalent to film sensitivity, because it's only a digital gain of the signal coming into the sensor. It is an important setting, but only in allowing the required shutter speed and aperture. So in essence, it's a supporting setting. It's not a core setting. Right. The second tier of functionality has a lot of different tools that support the core functionality of the camera. It includes metering mode, burst mode, flash setting, image stabilization, all sorts of things that do not have a direct effect on those two major aspects of the final image, the brightness and the sharpness distribution. The third tier is softer in nature. It replaces the selection of film we could put in our cameras back in the day. Those settings will affect the way the image looks, how saturated it will be, what gradations between different tones of brightness, and between different colors or hues will look like, how the camera will compensate for lens aberrations, and how it will correct the light temperature in the scene, are also part of this tier. All those settings are made by processing or by software, so they can be addressed after exposure, during the final processing of the photograph on a computer screen. This is the Nikon D700. It is one of those beast cameras that at the time were the epitome of professional photography. As such, it gives the photographer access to all the second tier functionality available at the time. For example, it has a focusing mode switch here. It has a button for flash settings, dedicated buttons to the file attributes, to white balance, and to ISO. It has a dedicated dial for metering mode. Here it has the focus area selection lever, and it has buttons on the side for a lot of those supporting functions. So it gives the photographer full control for most of its functions by dedicated control points. The photographer can quickly change on the fly using a combination of a button press and a dial. This is the Nikon F4. It's a camera of the same type, made for professional use. Back in 1988, it was the flagship camera made by Nikon at the early 90s. Of course, this is a film camera, so it represents an older technology, but still most of the second tier functions available at the time have direct access from the camera body. The exposure mode dial you can quickly change and it overrides the shutter speed setting and the aperture setting that is changed here on the aperture ring on the lens. It has the drive mode settings here on a dedicated dial. Here on the side you have the metering mode dial, and at the bottom you have AF and AE locks that can be coupled or decoupled. So it's the same story here, although this camera is an older one with more primitive controls. Next is this camera, the Nikon FE2, which the Nikon Zf is supposed to be modeled after. This is a much simpler camera. It only gives you direct control over the shutter speed, including an automatic setting that stands for aperture priority. And of course, you get an exposure compensation dial here on the side that actually is the same thing as changing the ISO settings on those cameras. This is a manual focus camera, so the viewfinder shows you a focusing screen with a split prism that confirms the focus. Now, if we compare the control layout of the Nikon Zf to those cameras, we can see that the camera is highly focused on those first tier settings that control the core functions of the camera. You have an ISO dial, which to me is redundant because I use auto ISO all the time, except when using a flash. You have the shutter speed dial, the exposure compensation dial, and you get 3 buttons that give you access points to the second tier functions. This is the first one on the front, one on the top when you're in photography mode, and the third one is right here on the back. So this camera is highly focused on the core functionality. It gives you very good control of what you want to be sharp in the photograph. I use 2 of these access points for autofocus settings. This button opens a menu for all the autofocus settings, and this button, the AFL, EFL, activates a backup autofocus mode, which for me is the 3D tracking. I use this button to hide any information from the screen, so I can only see the image carried over from the lens. The control layout of the ZF reminds me very much of the control layout of F4. In both cases, you get a dedicated exposure compensation dial. It is in the same place on both cameras, as you can see. And both cameras let you quickly override the manual exposure mode by a selector here that enables you to choose how the exposure will work, whether in manual, in aperture priority, in shutter priority, or in program. Same thing is here. This dial here lets you quickly change the exposure mode and override the manual exposure settings. So, in a sense, both cameras give you very good control of the exposure. Now, of course, the ZF is a much more modern camera. It has many more functions in the second tier that allow you different ways to support the core functionality of the camera. It has an EVF that gives you a good evaluation of how bright the image will be. So all these exposure modes for me are redundant. The only important control here is this exposure compensation dial that can be used either by setting it directly or putting it on in the C mode, where the front and back dials control exposure compensation. It's a much quicker way to do it in manual mode. This camera has been given a flippy screen that is arguably more convenient for video shooting. But I would like to dispute that, because the big advantage of this type of screens over the tilting ones is that you can flip them over, and this way the screen does not distract you from making your photos using the viewfinder, which is the classic way of working. There is another benefit to the possibility of flipping the screen. Now, when the camera is on and there is nothing blocking the viewfinder, the camera is effectively in sleep mode. So it doesn't consume any battery when you're not actively taking photos. This gives this camera an excellent battery life. I was able to shoot about 1,200 photos and film about 20 minutes of video on one battery, and there was still juice left in it at the end of the day. Of course, you can't change all the functions in the second and third tier, but you cannot do it directly from the camera body. You have to enter menus, either by enter the main menu of the camera or through the I menu by pressing this button. And then you can scroll through many options and change what you need to. But you can not do it on the fly while shooting. So you have to be much more intentional in changing those second, third tier settings. Another disadvantage of such a camera, of doing so, is that there is no indication on the camera body that you have changed one setting or another. And those settings cannot be remembered in custom modes and so on. You have to remember to revert it back to the original position. There is some disagreement going on about the ergonomics, so how comfortable the camera is to hold over time. Indeed, I don't think it is very comfortable. So I had to add a front grip to the camera that is screwed onto the bottom, and also a thumb grip that goes into the hot shoe. This way I can squeeze the right side of the camera, and it becomes more comfortable to hold. But you have to remember that the classic way, more stable way of holding a camera is by supporting it through the lens. with the left hand. If you hold it like that, like you're supposed to, it's much more comfortable to operate. You do not have to put much stress on your right hand in order to hold it in a stable way. The limited access to second-tier functions makes the Nikon Zf a slower experience. You have to be intentional when using it. You cannot jump erratically from genre to genre. You cannot make a lot of changes in those settings on the fly while looking through the viewfinder. You have to know what you want to shoot. You have to know how you want to shoot. So arguably, it's a camera made for more experienced, more settled photographers. It differs from those more modern designs that allow you many more changes while you shoot, where you can assign those different settings to different custom modes remembered by the camera. On the other hand, this limited access eliminates distractions. So you can be much more aware of your exposure settings. You can be much more focused in taking the photographs themselves, much more immersed in the scene, which makes it a good camera for any type of reactive, documentary photography. Of course, a good autofocusing system, which this camera has, does help a lot in achieving good results in those types of photography. The strengths of this camera, first of all, the mount. The Z mount is highly adaptable. You can mount on it native lenses, all the Nikon lenses made for the F mount. Actually, almost any lens ever made by dedicated adapters. Personally, I like using the TechArt or TZM02, which gives any manual lens autofocus capabilities, sort of. I dismissed it in a video I made a week ago because it's not a good alternative to native autofocus. It's a lot slower, it has limitations. But it's not the purpose of this adapter. It makes the use of manual lenses a lot easier, a lot faster. And this is its strength, really. So if you appreciate autofocus, you shouldn't really rely on an adapter like this. If it's a supplementary venture, if you already have some native fast focusing lenses and you would like to use some older, perhaps nicer manual lenses too, then this adapter would make your life much easier. The second strength of the ZF is its low light performance. I shoot quite often in very difficult light conditions, which means an aperture of 1.4, an ISO value of about 60,000, and I can still only achieve a shutter speed of 1/10 to 1/50th to achieve a correct brightness. And in those conditions, the results are still quite usable. The colors are saturated, as they should be, and the grain level is acceptable. I must stress that I'm quite tolerant to grain. It's a luminosity grain coming from this camera. You never get those ugly color specks all throughout your frame. So I find my limit in terms of ISO setting is what is suggested by the manufacturer, 64,000. Surprisingly, maybe, the camera still focuses quite well in those conditions. I don't have many missed focus incidents. It is very well suited to low light. The third strength of this camera is battery life, especially if you flip the screen over. This way there is very little power consumption when the camera is idle, and you get to shoot a lot of photos. In one case, as I mentioned before, I was able to shoot around 1,200 photos in RAW plus JPEG, and about 20 minutes of video. I still had some juice left in the battery. Battery life is perhaps overstated. It takes you exactly 15 seconds to change a battery, so it's not an issue really. But it gives you some confidence. The main strength of this design is the lack of distraction. If you use your camera the traditional way, looking through the viewfinder, being aware to the important core functions of aperture, shutter speed and focus, you are going to enjoy the shooting experience a lot. The fact that the viewfinder can be made blank with no extra information, and the accuracy of the view in that EVF help you feel immersed in the scene, in the environment. You can be confident that the camera supports you, that you will get the results you want, even without messing with all these supporting functions. You have to set them once and forget about it. There are two major weaknesses the Nikon Zf has. The first one is auto white balance. It's not an issue specific to this camera, but it has haunted Nikon cameras forever. Often the interpretation of light temperature obtained by the camera is clearly incorrect. I don't think it has much of a leeway in correcting color temperature. The problem is, I suspect that I shoot a lot in artificial light that is rarely full spectrum. Those are club lights, LED lights that have only a very specific wavelength. The camera struggles to correct it. When it can't correct the color temperature or can't compensate for it, it reverts back to something close to daylight, which might result in clearly erroneous colors in the final photograph. Despite my preference to trust JPEG processing of any camera I use, I can't always do it with Nikon Zf. It makes me shoot raw and waste my time with processing, specifically in order to correct this white balance problem. I don't have a lot of experience with cameras made by other manufacturers. The only real experience I have is with Olympus, who treated the problem of correct compensation for color temperature in a more elegant way. Some of their cameras, albeit the higher end ones, had a translucent window on the front of the camera with a color temperature sensor behind it. That solution gave the camera a capability to measure incident light, specifically incident color temperature. I am quite surprised none of the other manufacturers have utilized such a solution until now. The other glaring weakness of the Nikon Zf is its build, its shape. It's a brick-like thing. It's uncomfortable to hold over time. You have to buy extra accessory to make it more comfortable to use. But then if you hold the camera like you're supposed to, where your left hand supports the lens and there is much more strain on your right hand, things become a little bit better. Anyway, it's a camera that is designed to be hanging from your neck or from your shoulder, not handheld. Video-wise, it's not the best camera in the world, but it's not bad. I use this camera, the Nikon Zf, to shoot those talking heads videos all the time. I feel that the image quality is adequate. It's fine for this purpose. Image stabilization is good as long as you stand still. It's not made for walking with the camera while shooting. This video is shot at 1080p at 24 frames per second, 8-bit. So it's not really a challenging situation for this camera. But I feel that with the right lenses, the video footage still looks very good. To end this video, I would like to show you an assortment of photographs I made with this camera. Of course, they could be made with any other equivalent modern camera, but what sets this camera apart, as I discussed, is the lack of distraction. It enables you to become part of the scene, to be more immersed in it compared to other camera with more standard control layout. That is all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you again soon.